At some point, you've likely
You guys
heard
can
of
probably
Rivals,
hear now,
but
right?
if you haven't, here is its quick history.
My bad,
On
you
June
guys.
28th,
I messed up the
2024,
audio.
Nosby Games, creators of Treasure Quest and Super Golf, officially released their most ambitious project yet. A game that at the time of this recording has reached over 11 billion visits. After combining
Which is
movement,
insane.
tactical gameplay, and a wide arsenal of weapons, Rivals was born. And like every major first-person shooter before it, competition followed. Because in games like these, competition is inevitable. It creates players with histories, stories you might not know. From tournament champions, to rising content creators, to massive clans and leagues, to famous cheaters,
Oh yeah,
scammers,
the clans
and
are
players who would shape
huge
the game's
in
history.
Rivals.
This is the history of Roblox Rivals.
And I love that. That's so good.
And the winner is Rivals!
Best shooter experience, for sure.
Let's go! Alright, so you guys have been asking me non-stop to play some Rivals.
This is it, Roblox Rivals, the most intense first-person shooter game on Roblox.
Today, I'm going to play Rivals.
Man.
Can you learn 24 rival skills in only 24 hours? Oh, this is gonna be so difficult.
Okay, so the brand new Rivals update is coming out. Rivals Season 3, the big update. Let's go ahead, let's watch the trailer, and then we'll hop into the update. Here we go right here.
I love that. Here we go right here, and then you go into the actual video. Clean editing, man. Chapter 1, the early age. I love the film strips. I love retro stuff like that. Heck, I have a typewriter right next to me.
Ranked, before the Christmas and Halloween updates, and even before free-for-all, Rivals was simple. Step on a pad, duel another player, with one goal in mind. How many times can you win? But Rivals was never originally intended to be a fast-paced FPS. It was first designed as a zombie PvE shooter. That idea was scrapped early. A full tester group was already built for it, before being dismissed when the direction changed. The project restarted from scratch.
Good thing they
New
did.
testers, new vision. And eventually, Rivals became what it is today. This is the early age. Back then, Rivals wasn't considered competitive. But what makes a game competitive is its community. And in that community, there was one shared goal. Number one. Number one on the leaderboards. If you were around in the earliest days of Rivals, two names
I wasn't.
stood out immediately. Cassie, also known as Caskets, and Andrew, or Andrew X FPS. At that
This is
point
gonna
in
sound
time,
bad.
Rivals wasn't
I haven't heard of
defined by
either of them.
tournaments or ranked systems. It was defined by one thing: win streaks. The goal was simple: don't lose. But the system behind it made that far more complicated than it sounded. Because in Rivals, losing didn't just reset your progress. It cost you. Every time a player lost a streak, they had to restore it using keys. The first restore cost 5 keys, then 10, 15, 25, and so on, all the way up to a cap of 100. At the highest level, one mistake wasn't just a loss. It was a resource drain. A system
I love how you are emphasizing the high level play here, and you're going into the competitive aspect of the community. I really, really like that.
that punished inconsistency with increasing cost, turning streaking into both a skill test and an economic grind. And that's what made it one of the most punishing systems in early Rivals. Cassie was one of the first players to push that system to its limits. She became the first known player to reach 5,000, then 6,000 win streak, eventually peaking at around 6,800. For a period of time, she was viewed as untouchable, but her reputation was never stable. Before Rivals, Cassie originally came from Breaking Point, another Roblox game where she also reached the top of the leaderboard. According
Dang.
to players close to her at the time, including a user known as Yuki, many of the top players in that scene were already heavily involved in cheating.
Uh-oh.
So back in 2020, I started a game called Breaking Point, and in that, Cassie was the #1 leaderboard player as well. In that game, though, it was very normalized to cheat just to get wins.
Yikes.
So people would like have like scripts and stuff custom made to like auto kill things, and it was to the point where like she had, I think, 12 instances of Roblox running over 2 PCs just to fill a server so that she can get infinite wins.
What?
But she was the #1 on there, and she would like cheat, obviously. So we became friends one day because I was just playing in a server and I got added by one of the top players at the time because I was dating one of the leaderboard players. Fast forward, I ended up meeting Cassie and we just ended up becoming friends because of like breaking point.
Still, early moderation didn't treat her as a confirmed cheater. In fact,
I mean, as they shouldn't. Just because you cheat in one game doesn't necessarily mean that you cheat in another. You know, the likelihood is higher because you've gotten away with it in a different game, but it's not like, you know, you just have a big red X painted on you. You know, it's not confirmed.
multiple moderators at the time, including Connor and Ryu NQ, publicly defended her legitimacy, stating there was no concrete proof of cheating. At one point, discussions around Cassie became sensitive enough.
I can't believe this is just. I hate to pause when we're getting in the middle of it, but like, I can't believe you've gone all the way back and you're getting like screenshots of this. Like, that could not have been easy. Like that takes time.
That even mentioning accusations could lead to moderation action. For a time, Cassie was officially considered legitimate, but behind the scenes, the story was more divided. According to Yuki, Cassie was part of a private friend group where players would run HVH matches, hacker versus hacker. These weren't official matches or part of any system. And as rivals continued to grow, that history became harder to ignore. Outside of her gameplay, Cassie's influence extended further. With her position at the top of the streak leaderboard, she went on to create one of the earliest known clans in Rivals, Secrecy. A clan that would go on to influence how early groups formed. And
This is so cool. I love this. Like, it almost reminds me of like those big Minecraft videos where it talks about how the communities are formed over time and how they like go against one another and compete for resources and things like that. This is like really diving deep into the history of like how clans originated and probably, I'm hoping, how they shape clans today. Like, really go into the history. Inky, you're gonna get AFK kicked? That's okay. That's okay.
how players began organizing themselves beyond just individual leaderboards. Despite all of this, her run would come to an abrupt end.
Ooh.
On August 28th, 2024.
Oh
Cassie
no.
was banned. No full public explanation was ever clearly confirmed. And just like that, one of the earliest dominant streak players in Rivals history was gone.
So that's probably why I've never heard of him.
Meanwhile, Andrew represented the opposite end of that same era. Unlike Cassie, Andrew was a Rivals-born player. No external reputation, no prior scene, just raw progression inside the game itself. He climbed nearly every major leaderboard at the time. Levels, kills, wins. At one point, he reached number 1 across almost all of them. But
That's
the players
crazy.
he surpassed weren't insignificant. Fate was one of them, the first player to reach level 400, and one of the earliest to fully understand how overpowered the original katana system was. Another was Animal Friend 47, who had also held early dominance before being overtaken. Fate would eventually hold the top position for months, until Andrew eventually climbed past her. But unlike Cassie, Andrew was never fully committed to streaking long-term. And there's a reason for that.
Interesting.
Because streaking wasn't just competitive, it was punishing.
Yeah.
Every loss meant rebuilding your streak, using keys, and those costs
Money.
scaled aggressively.
Yeah.
5, 10, 15, 25, up to 100 per restore. For high streak players, a single mistake could mean burning through hundreds of keys just to recover.
And dollars too.
One of the most extreme cases is a player named Leo, who accumulated over 40,000 keys spent purely on maintaining streaks.
Dang.
Using the legendary key bundle, which is 5,000 Robux for 1,100 keys, that alone translates to hundreds of thousands of Robux spent just to maintain a streak
Oh my
that could disappear
goodness
in one match.
gracious.
And that reality is exactly why many players, including Andrew, avoided fully committing to streaking as their main focus. It wasn't just about skill, it was about sustainability.
Yeah.
Despite that, Cassie and Andrew inevitably defined the same era from opposite angles. Cassie represented peak streak dominance, while Andrew represented consistent leaderboard control. And together they shaped the foundation of early Rivals competition. But that foundation wouldn't stay stable for long, because once players understood what was possible, they stopped playing for streaks and started playing for control. Because
Ooh.
what happens when a top player stops competing individually and starts forming groups?
Oh, here we go! Yes! Now we get into the clans and the clan wars and the competitive scene. Oh, this is gonna be so awesome. I'm so excited for this. Chapter 2? Yeah! Birth of Clans! Let's go, dude. Let's go. I'm excited to learn about, like, the rise and fall of the early clans. You know, it's almost like looking at old civilizations and seeing, like, what happened.
These were the original clans that took over Rivals leaderboards. Arceus, Sync, TNTS,
Really?
and
Sync?
Zenith. All formed
I know
within
Sync and
months
Zenith.
of release. One of the first clans to popularize tags was Zenith, or ZT, a Europe-based clan that quickly dominated leaderboards, with players like Andrew holding multiple #1 positions across every board, while Cassie still controlled the win streak board. ZT's roster expanded quickly, including names like Blix, Sox, Chrome, and eventually Sedated, a player who would have
See, I don't
surpassed
know any
Cash's
of these
streak,
names.
and one of ZT's most notable additions, Snappy Fuji.
Huh.
But Zenith wouldn't remain.
How did you get that footage? Oh my god. That's crazy. How long did it take you to get that footage? Like, that was a split-second scene from an Enrique Bruh video. Wild.
Sync would rise shortly after. Founded by players who met through Nazis looking for group Discord, Fendi, Supa, and Velo, the original 3. Sync would eventually become the largest clan in Rivals history, with over 40,000 members in its Discord today.
I think it actually recently got overtaken by Ace as well. I think Ace has more in their Discord now. But that was super recent. So
Another rising force was Arceus, also known as Art, a clan built around pure mechanical skill, not leaderboard placement, not streaks, but raw DL performance.
Okay.
Default loadout.
yeah,
Oh,
DL.
it's a 1v2. Can
Scythe?
the big Scythe win a 1v2? That is the question we have to see.
We got my boy paying the price.
He gets one. He gets a second. There's no way. He's on my Nox gets his hair trimmed off there, and he catches him off guard. There's something. No 10 damage. Muggy stays. He tracks in. That's what he needed. Oh no! They've caught Triple off guard. Triple's in there in a 1v2. But wait, what does Triple do? Triple's full HP. What happened? What happened, Ricky? What happened? Swings it. Oh my god! The angel! What was that from Triple? What was that from Triple? What was that from Triple? And he hits the owl. There's no way. Triple. What a massive clutch.
Let's
the
go.
aim difference a little bit notable. I'm gonna be
I
honest.
love this
Struggling.
aim.
Yeah, Kanashi just reliably hitting.
Oh, and
shots
this is
when most
you!
players wouldn't. See if the reload Muggy swinging him. He gets one in a second.
Had to
Muggy
include
pushing
yourself
him.
in there. I feel
And
it. I
picking
do
up
the
an
same.
M6 wins
That's
it.
awesome,
Oh,
man.
my lord.
Ooh! The sound effect to end it.
Freezy Fuji.
Ooh.
I founded ZT in around late July.
Sync, okay, so Sync was made the September 26th of 2024, very early in Rivals, bro.
Arc was originally a clan that I wanted to start, like the beginning of 2024. It was just a random idea. I didn't actually think like it would go through or anything, and it stood for Arceus because I liked Pokemon at the time.
I knew it was a Pokemon reference.
The greatest part about being in a clan, owning it with a bunch of other people that all share the same goal as you in playing the game.
Genuinely, I think it's a little bit. It's not as like exciting as you think it is, but I think the main thing that I enjoyed was just having a community. You know.
I'd say my favorite era of Sync would have to be Sync versus the 34, and that's probably my favorite era. It was the most fun era. Like, Rivals was not boring. It was always something to, like, you know, get on for.
Oh, it's just like bittersweet, man.
Bittersweet
Bittersweet stuff gets
me. It was
me.
a fun era.
You know, remembrance, remembering the good old times. That stuff gets me all the time.
Against 34, that was probably my favorite era.
So how did you get Arceus to be so big? Because back then when I was playing the game, there was a lot of you guys on that streak leaderboard, like taking over.
Pretty much everyone would have. It wasn't required, but a lot of people did it. They changed their display name to Arc, and eventually the leaderboard would fill with Arc. And people
That's so
wondered, like,
cool. And nowadays
what is
that's
Arc?
4LC.
So then people were
Nowadays the
looking around
leaderboard is filled with
and posting the
4LC.
Discord server link everywhere.
How did you get people to join Sync? Like, how did it get so popular?
really just tryouts. Like the more you post about Sync like on YouTube or like just promote it, when people see other big streakers in that clan, they're gonna think it's a good clan and they're gonna want to join too. So
Do you think any current new players, let's say from now, maybe the past 6 months, would even know about what ZT is or even heard of it?
Possibly. It depends on how much ball you know. Like,
Yeah,
it's quite-
I wouldn't know.
Not many people like at the top really.
I didn't
about
know.
it. I know that back in the day, obviously, it was huge.
Exactly, yeah.
That was pretty bittersweet, to be honest. Chapter 3, the first step. Okay, first step of what? I guess we'll find out.
Now, if you play Rivals or even watch creators in the scene, you've probably heard of one name before. RCL. The Rivals Competitive League.
Yep.
Rivals' largest league to date. With over 40,000 members in its Discord, RCL wasn't just a server, it was a system. Dedicated channels, staff teams, and structured ranking format where players were placed from R1, the lowest rank, all the way up to R10, the highest rank achievable.
I would have added a
At the
graphic
time,
here
Rivals
with the R1 to
itself had
R10.
no official ranked game mode, so RCL became the closest thing to competitive structure the game had ever seen. And it
Sorry, I
changed
critique
everything.
videos all the time. I'm
RCL
sorry.
has gone through 3 major versions across its history. The first iteration was created by an unknown founder.
Unknown
Despite
founder?
many extensive attempts to trace its origin, the creator remains unidentified to this day. The original server was eventually purchased and restructured by Sure, a known figure in Roblox competitive leagues. Sure had originally managed multiple leagues before, including MCL, the Murder Reverse Sheriff competitive league, and BCL, the Bed Wars competitive league. After acquiring RCL, she rebuilt it into a formal competitive ecosystem. But before Sure's version of RCL, there was another major league forming at the same time. CRL, the Competitive Rivals League.
Oh.
founded by Cortex and Nevo, also known as SAS.
Interesting.
CRL was the first league to fully host structured competitive play at scale. It introduced tournaments,
So we got
rank
RCL and
progression
CRL.
systems, and prize pools and Robux. Some of its most notable players included Snappy, Phil Hood, Cizo, Sworn, Enrique, Bubba, Uni, and Czar. However, as the scene grew, so did instability. Cheating accusations became more frequent, and competitive integrity began to shift. And from that environment, new players would rise. Players like CXTEO and Binkle would later carry into the next era of RCL. After Sure's acquisition, RCL quickly expanded to over 30,000 members.
Wow.
But it wouldn't last forever. The league eventually shut down, as Sure moved on to other projects. At the same time, another structure was forming, Rivals Guardians. Created by Phil Hood and Avion,
Whoa.
it was originally designed as a coaching and improvement server, a place for players to learn, improve, and be guided by high-level talent. But it didn't stay that way for long. Sure would later acquire Rivals Guardians and transform it into a new version of RCL, effectively reviving the league system under a new structure. Modern RCL, as it exists today, is run under Sure's ownership with a full administrative ecosystem, including rank management, which is responsible for assigning player ranks, the justice department,
Well, I wonder
which is
what happened
responsible for
to,
reviewing tournament VODs, and recording policy enforcement, ensuring
CRL.
competitive integrity. And that's where things become far more complex. Because to verify competitive matches, players are required to follow strict recording procedures.
Ooh,
At
okay.
the time of early 2025, these included disabling secondary monitors, recording Roblox launch from startup, opening task manager, and enabling specific Windows security settings. All to ensure no external tools were active. But even with these checks in place, it didn't guarantee fairness. Bypasses existed, workarounds existed, and in some cases, innocent players accidentally exposed personal information, full names, emails, and even addresses while completing recording requirements.
That's rough.
And yet, despite all this structure, RCL became the defining force of competitive rival.
I think RCL became the defining force of competitive rivals because they did that. And because that adds credibility to the players doing it. And it's like, sure, there are, workarounds for it. But I think because that they are investing the time to put those security protocols in place, it really adds to the credibility of it.
Creating some of the most recognizable names in the game's history.
Whoa. Oh, you were an R9? That's crazy. That's insane. Yeah, some of these names I recognize. Like, I know Binkle, because he invented like a grenade launch tech, like the Binkle tech or something. I know Tripled, Ricky, Snappy, Zorfi, Phil Hood, Zay, Scythe, Iced, Mech. I now know you, Enrique Bruv. Those are the ones I know. Interesting. And I'm not really in the competitive scene, and I know those names. Chapter 4, The Fraud of Rivals. Uh-oh. So, you did touch on it on the CRL, which probably fell apart because of the cheating accusations that you mentioned. I don't know if you're going to come back to it in this, but I think that this chapter is going to be about cheaters.
There are many cheaters.
I knew it!
One name stands above the rest. Not Cassie, not Czar, Snappy. At the time, Snappy wasn't just another competitive player. He was a key member of RCL's early staff team, trusted with ranking players and involved in the Justice Department, and still actively competing in tournaments at the highest level. And for a long time, he was considered Rival's best player. Snappy originally came from another competitive Roblox title, most notably Arsenal.
Oh, I was about to guess Arsenal.
Through those games that he met Freezy, a ZT figure who would later connect him deeper to the Rivals competitive scene.
I knew Snappy from Fuji, which is a crew from the game The Hood, and he was, I think, he was a relatively good player at The Hood, and because it is such like a cheater-infested game, I'd be surprised if he cheated on Rivals and then didn't cheat on The Hood, because on The Hood I think, when I was rank 2 in EU, he was about rank 10. So his like display of skill wasn't significant at all on that game. So I wouldn't imagine that he would have cheated on Rivals a whole lot either. So him getting banned, that was also one of the things I was like, I can't trust anyone.
From there, his transition was seamless, and his dominance was immediate. But Snappy didn't look like a typical cheater. There were no obvious exploits, no flying, no teleporting, no blatant in-game abuse. Instead, he fell under what the community would call a closet cheater. Someone who hides their advantage inside normal gameplay. Matrix, a Roblox external cheat. It gave him two major advantages: aimbot, which is near perfect aim assistance, and ESP, the ability to see players through walls. On paper, it was simple, but in game, it made him nearly impossible to read. While other players were reacting, Snappy already knew. With that advantage, Snappy climbed all the way to RCL's R10, the highest rank in the system. And for a while, that alone solidified him as the face of competitive Rivals. But eventually, things started to feel off. It began with the small details: tournament VODs being replayed, spectator clips being rewatched, moments where his crosshair never left the target.
That's typically how it happens.
Angles he seemed to predict before they happened. Pre-aims that felt too consistent to ignore. And at first, it was dismissed as skill. But as more footage circulated, patterns started forming.
Yeah, that's the thing about cheating is
and
that
in a game built on
it's an
precision and
overtime
timing, patterns don't
thing.
stay hidden for long. Then, the clips started spreading. Most notably through analysis done by Korax, who began breaking down Snappy's gameplay frame by frame. Slow motion, angle tracking, replay comparisons, every moment scrutinized. Still, nothing was officially confirmed, but the conversation had already shifted. It was no longer about whether if he was good, it was whether if he was legit. The breaking point came during an RCL 2v2 tournament. Snappy and his teammate Anchor reached the finals against Scooper and Triple, which Snappy won. And as part of RCL policy, Snappy was required to submit his full recording to the Justice Department.
Absolutely, makes
And
sense.
he did. But that recording would later be sent from a Justice Department member to be reviewed by CXTEO, a top player in the competitive scene, who would reach R10 mid in RCL. And what he found changed everything. During the recording, while Snappy briefly opened Task Manager, CX noticed something in the corner of the screen. A file. An executable. The file name was New UI Matrix.
Oh no!
.exe. Matrix. Still running. still active, captured on recording. That was confirmation Snappy
Oof,
had been using
dude.
Matrix during competitive play. After
Caught
that moment, there was no debate
red-handed.
left to have, no defense that held up, no explanation that changed the outcome. On December 1st, 2024, Snappy was banned.
Yikes,
The
dude.
player once regarded as the best in Rivals was gone, and what remained wasn't a legacy of dominance, but one of deception.
That's a fire line. What remained wasn't a legacy of dominance, but one of deception. Oh my god, props for that. That was incredible. You know, and that really kind of solidifies like my misunderstanding of like why do people cheat. It doesn't make any sense because like eventually you will be caught. On a long enough time horizon, you will be caught. You know, just like what happened with Snappy, eventually people will start looking at your clips, start seeing it, and then the evidence stacks and stacks and stacks, and then you slip up. Because remember, you only need to slip up once, right? So, it baffles my mind. Chapter 5, Spreading Like Wildfire. Uh-oh. Is this going to be about how cheating is spreading like wildfire? Or about how the game is spreading like wildfire? Because this game, like, blew up. I think it's about cheating, though, with the intense music that's going on.
And what remained wasn't just a ban. It was a moment the entire competitive scene felt. Because in Rivals, news doesn't stay contained for long. It spreads. And when a story like this breaks, there's always something or someone ready to amplify it.
Whoa. Love this. Love the audio on it too. Fantastic.
Rivals Media and Rivals Cheating Registry, RM and RCR. Now, Rivals Media is often confused with Rivals TV, but they are not the same. Rivals Media was the first true news outlet system.
I was about to
inside
ask if there
Rivals,
was like a news
not
outlet.
focused on tournaments, not focused on leagues, but focused on the game itself. It was originally created by Alone, also known as Send Help 1 on Roblox. The concept was inspired by The Hood Media, a community that documented crew conflicts and in-game events, but Alone expanded that idea into something far more structured.
While I was grinding one day, I decided, like, as a joke, I was like, yo, I should make like a Rivals like news server. And I'm not gonna say I originated like media servers or whatnot.
Yeah.
You know, I just decided to bring it into the Rivals Con because no one really had like a news like forum besides like, you know, the Nosny game server and like.
Yo, thank you for the $1 super chat, Streamflex. I do appreciate it.
Servers that would like have like the not overtakes, they would like post their wins or whatever. The server was originally just to put like to see who beats who. That's what it was. And like I just migrated news in it as well, and I didn't expect Rivals Media to be what it was. Like it was just like a big joke. It was like for fun at one point.
Rivals Media introduced a system where players could submit tickets, report matches, and publish overtakes, which are documented wins against notable players, creators, or competitive teams.
When I first heard of overtakes, I was like, this is kind of a weird thing, but at the same time, it's really cool. And since then, like, I've begun to love overtakes. It's so interesting that,
Every
like,
match had to
it's something I've never seen in any other game.
be verified. Every result had to be backed with evidence, and for the first time, normal gameplay became public record. In December 2024, Rivals Media officially launched, and almost immediately it exploded in activity, because now Rivals wasn't just being played, it was being watched.
And documented,
Every streak,
yeah.
Every upset, every controversial match was being documented in real time. Players like I3Y and Wesley were actively involved as well, not just as names being covered, but as participants inside the ecosystem itself.
It was definitely a good thing, just ran poorly.
Yeah,
like,
it
caused so much like funny drama within the community. Like whenever like before rank came out, you could just dodge comp. Like whenever you dodge comp, you would just get posted in there. So like it was kind of like shameful to do it. So like you would get more comp games. So that definitely like helped the game out. That made the game a lot more fun. Like less people dodging because they're ashamed to get posted.
Rivals Media also changed how moderation was perceived. Moderators would join live stages, spectate matches in real time, and publicly ban cheaters while the community watched. It turned enforcement into entertainment, and
Yeah, live bans were the best, baby. I love it.
moderation into spectacle. But as the platform grew, so did internal tension between groups, between players.
Ooh, now we're getting
between
back into
clans
the
operating
yeah.
under the
Now we're
same
getting
system.
into the
One of the most notable conflicts involved Alone,
Okay.
the Clan 34, led by I3Y and Wesley, along with others. During this time, Loth, a moderator connected to 34, would often spectate matches involving rival groups tied to Alone. At the same time, tensions between both sides began building behind the scenes.
You know, when Loth came around Rivals Media, we had Loth get on stages and stuff. He would like live ban people like on stages for us. You know, it'd be like good content, good news or whatever.
Yeah.
Then you know, we thought everything was cool. Then out of nowhere, you know, Loth just like kind of somewhat is inactive in Rivals Media, doesn't type, doesn't really join stages anymore. Like we probably are like just thinking he's just a mod or whatever, like he has other to do. Then out of nowhere, like whenever my friend group would play I3's friend group, Loth would just come out of nowhere, just spectate all of us. He would spectate us but not spectate 34, and we're like, bro, what the is that about? Like it's obvious pocket modding. They think we're closeting, but
And then the situation escalated. Not from a match, not from a gameplay, but from a message. A player known as Korax sent a message
No.
containing a GIF that revealed Loth's address.
not
Whether intentional
doxing,
or not,
dude.
It caused immediate backlash, and in response, Loth believed Alone may have been involved.
then later on, Korax joins the server and just makes a gif of Loth's address.
Oh
And,
no.
you know, Loth
dude.
thinks we're part of that. Then
That moment triggered the first major collapse. Nausea Games stepped in, and within days, Rivals Media was effectively wiped from Rivals itself.
So that's
A
why I've
system
never
message
heard of
followed,
it.
associated with Rivals Media. Thousands of members were removed in a matter of days, all banned from Rivals.
Yo, thank you for the 50-cent super chat, my man. I do appreciate it.
Inside the aftermath, Saint, another key figure in the server, was added to a group chat containing a message directly from developer Sensei Warrior. While not directly part of Rivals Media's shutdown, the incident also brought attention to broader conflicts within the community, including criticism and opinions surrounding clans like Royal Sea, a topic that will be revisited later in the timeline.
I don't know, since
That's kind of sad that it, like, you know, eventually was disbanded. Because I think having media coverage is incredibly important. The line between justice. Ooh. Interesting.
Korax, a name mentioned earlier. Most people would call him a villain in Rivals history. But that label didn't start there. It came later. Korax was the creator of RCR, the Rivals cheating registry, a server built with one purpose in mind: to expose suspected cheaters in the competitive scene. At first, it wasn't hated.
Of course
it was
not.
needed.
That seems like a good
RCR
thing.
gathered clips,
right?
VODs, and gameplay footage from top players, breaking them down frame by frame. Every flick, every reaction time, every impossible read was analyzed through editing software and pattern recognition. To some point, it looked like justice, a safeguard for a game that couldn't fully police itself. But to others, it was something else. A system built on interpretation. And interpretation is never clean.
Yeah, it's subjective.
RCR would begin targeting high-profile players, names like Ricky, building public cases from compilations of clips and statistical oddities. Sometimes they were right. Sometimes they weren't. But once a name entered RCR, it rarely left clean.
Oof.
And Korax didn't just stop at gameplay. He and his team, including Track 2 and Track 3, both tied to RCL and CRL justice systems, became heavily involved in enforcement culture itself. Recording policies, cheat detection standards, and ban recommendations all began to orbit RCR's influence. Over time, the line between investigator and authority started to blur. Then came the shift. One of the most controversial incidents in Rivals history involved game moderator Loth, where personal information was allegedly shared in connection to RCR-related escalation. Whether directly or indirectly, the damage was irreversible. Trust in RCR began to fracture. And then came Shaman. On April 18, 2025, during what was supposed to be a routine PC check conducted under SAPIX, the process was weaponized. Shaman's system was compromised, and sensitive personal information, including full name,
dude.
address,
Are you
email,
serious?
and linked accounts, were exposed. And it didn't end there. According to multiple accounts, Shaman was also threatened with demands of $1,000, or further personal
What?
data leaks would follow, including documents like CVs and even passport-related information. What started as a verification had crossed into something far more dangerous.
See, that's a concern I've always had as well, is like the so-called PC checks. Is like, I would never let somebody else on my computer. You know, granted, I've locked down my computer because I'm a streamer and, you know, I could accidentally leak information. So, like, I've locked down my PC already to where, like, you know, I only have a local account kind of thing. But, like, if you're just a regular person and you don't have that kind of security layer for yourself, letting somebody else onto your computer is just insane to me. Absolutely insane, especially with something like TeamViewer, where you can copy somebody's entire computer without them knowing if they give you the correct access. Like, it's crazy. Absolutely wild.
This wasn't just about cheating
And
anymore.
it sucks that
It
that
was about
happened to this
control.
guy.
And after that incident, PC checking itself began to die out across the competitive scene.
Makes sense.
Now, a more notable moment for RCR's history was during the period of when Corex docked certain staff members in Nosley Games, which forced a few staff to retire.
What?
The cease and desist was issued by Sensei Warrior directly towards Corax.
Yeah, as they
marking
should.
One of the first time the system itself openly pushed back against RCR's actions. But the reputation had already changed. To some, Corax was still a necessary watchdog, someone doing what others refused to do. To others, he had become something entirely different, a figure who didn't just expose cheaters, but decided what truth was. Today, RCR still exists, but it's no longer centered around investigation in the same way. Its influence shifted, its presence changed, and instead of defining cheaters, it became part of the controversy it was built to prevent. And Corax was at the center of it all.
Dude, this is getting intense. And when you think about it, this is over a game on Roblox. Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. We're halfway through? I feel like I've been watching this for 5 minutes, dude. Chapter 7. The Middle Age. Okay, we're getting in the Middle Age. Let's see what happens.
Now, I consider this the middle point in Rivals history, the part where everything begins to shift, and the tone of the game slowly changes. The Middle Age, a period where many of the original OG teams and identities start fading out of the picture. Clans like ZT, Arceus, and others that once dominated leaderboards and conversations begin to disappear, not always in one moment, but gradually. As players lose motivation, move on, or step away from the game entirely. A major reason for that decline was simple, the same question that kept echoing throughout the entire community. Where is Ranked? Even after almost a year of anticipation, Ranked was still not fully released. Despite constant teasing and expectations from the player base, that absence created a gap. And over time, that gap started to affect activity, structure, and competitive drive. But even in that shift, one clan managed to hold its relevance: Sync. While other groups faded, Sync adapted and remained present, continuing to maintain influence within the evolving scene. And with older competitors gone, new structures began to form. One of them was a name mentioned earlier, 34. 34 was a secluded invite-based clan, similar in nature to older groups like Secrecy. Unlike most clans that relied on tryouts and open recruitment, 34 operated through connection. To join, you either had to be invited directly or earn your way in by building trust with someone already inside. Even if you weren't part of the inner circle, the community still existed through their Discord, but the core of 34 remained tightly closed. Unlike many competitive clans,
This is really
34
interesting.
wasn't built around constant rivalry or structured competition. It was more casual in nature. They would still clash with other groups, but it rarely escalated into large-scale drama. They did participate in identifying and removing players, and occasionally assisted with gathering evidence on suspected cheaters. But that wasn't what defined them. What defined 34 was what happened after.
Just sit at the table, you can't get for.
Wait, my name is Crank. I rage cheat in Rivals. Is he gonna talk about that?
These are like #1.
Wait. What is happening?
No way.
Wolf of Wall Street party era. Pert Peanut here.
Our cookouts, the 34 cookouts when we like
34 cookouts.
Infamous cookouts.
Yes, when we banned like big players from like a different clan or anything, we did a big cookout.
If you can, like, what type of player, which players did you ban and how did you ban them?
We banned the majority. We banned Sync. We still ban them to this day. We still do investigating on them.
And interestingly enough, there is one connection between Sync and 34. They both had one player in common. Zorfi, a name that at this point in Rivals history was beginning to circulate far beyond just competitive circles, and would soon become something much larger than either clan could contain.
YouTuber? Content creation? Uh-oh, a fool's act! Ruh-roh.
By the time Zorfi was rising to popularity, the game itself was on the verge of a turning point. Something the community had waited nearly a year for was about to arrive. Ranked. And when it did, it didn't just meet expectations.
It exceeded them?
them.
Yeah!
The player count surged beyond anything Rivals had ever seen. Hundreds of thousands of players returned, and just as many experienced it for the first time. Rivals was nearing 1 million concurrent players.
Holy
all of them
moly.
stepping into rank. For the first time, Rivals felt alive again. And in moments like these, when an entire game shifts overnight, new names begin to surface. Not
Yeah,
because they appeared
it's a turning
suddenly,
point.
but because the environment finally allowed them to be seen. Zorfi was one of those names. At first, he wasn't widely recognized by the public. He started like everyone else. But unlike most, his rise was unusually fast. Not because he was dominating every leaderboard, but he still reached RCL's R10, a rank only a handful of players have ever achieved, and within the competitive community, that alone was enough to put his name on the map. But rank changed what famous actually meant in Rivals.
Because it
wasn't just
actually
about
showed
wins
it
anymore.
to people
it was
in
about
the game.
visibility, and Zorfi understood that early. While most players focused on grinding elo, Zorfi focused on something else. Short clips, highlight plays, and subtle disses towards other top players.
Which is really interesting because if this is the first time where that really started to occur, that is very much snowballed because most of the Rivals content that I still see and get sent is very much like short clips, montage, funk music, you know, those kinds of things. So if this is like where it originated, it's really cool to see that it's still in play nowadays. Very cool.
Moments that were designed to gain traction and act. And at first, it was simple content creation, but his presence began to divide the community. To casual players, he represented the new face of Ranked. Finally, a chance where a player with true competitive skill is able to make it as a content creator. While competitive players, something about him didn't feel right. And as Rank continued to grow, so did the attention on the name Zorfi. Until it wasn't about Ranked anymore, it was solely fixated on him. But when attention is sought, and when a player begins to stand out, people look closer, and Zorfi was no exception. Though his content was already skyrocketing in views, he still participated in the competitive scene. And it was this same scene where Zorfi would solidify his place as a top competitive player, the place where it all started. But eventually, it would be the place where it would all end. Clips were gathered slowly over multiple months, moments that didn't seem unusual at first, but began to feel off when more were put together. Aiming that seemed robotic, peaks that seemed perfect every single time, and plays that looked almost inhuman against high-skilled opponents. Individually, none of it meant anything, but in a competitive scene like Rivals, patterns don't go unnoticed for long. To most casual players, it was nothing more than a highlighted gameplay. True skill in a newly competitive era. But
It's
within
like-
the ranked and RCL communities,
It's exactly what happened
a different
before.
conversation began forming.
Yeah.
Not accusations, at least not yet, just questions. And the more clips circulated, the louder those questions became, until those questions finally stopped being quiet. Because in a game built on competitive nature, where precision, mechanics, and consistency play the biggest role, it always invites suspicion. And Zorfi was too consistent. At first, speculation stayed contained within small conversations, Discord messages, clip discussions, and private calls between competitive players. Not only was everything about Zorfi's gameplay being analyzed by competitive players, but it eventually reached RCR. And with how Corex normally conducts his research, each clip was reviewed, slowed down frame by frame, until the report was released publicly to the community. Now, again, not everything in RCR is 100% true, but to some players, RCR catching on is all that's needed to determine a player's legitimacy. Even if others didn't fully believe these accusations, there was only one way it would truly matter. The moments these clips were placed in front of the staff team at Nosny Games was the moment the final second ticked. And finally, on October 28th, 2025, Zorfi was banned.
Zorfi was not cheating, like when his accusations were like a thing, when they were like really big. He started cheating out of nowhere.
He wasn't cheating.
Yeah, he wasn't cheating. Out of nowhere, he started cheating when he was playing for Sync, and he just made it like super blatant. Because I feel like if he was cheating the whole time, I feel like he'd hide it better. But he had like a week where he was just cheating, and it was just so blatant, and that's how he got banned. Like,
You believed he wasn't cheating at all until he got
wasn't
into
cheating
Sync.
at all. Yeah,
So
exactly.
He got to Sync, yeah.
And then you could tell right away.
Wars.
Right. How did it hit you when Zorfi was banned?
How did it hit, bro? I was surprised when he first got banned. I thought, okay, it happened twice, and he got unbanned 10 minutes later. So I thought it was just another quick unban, but he never got. We waited for days, never got unbanned. Yeah, it really shocked us.
Yikes. Yikes. Behind the scenes. Oh, I love BTS behind the scenes stuff. So awesome. Hold on, I'm getting a Discord call. Just kidding. ArchX!
Zorfi's been posting, so what do you think
I've seen
about?
it.
What do you think about him posting?
It seems like he needs to get his bag.
He is getting his bag.
He is getting his bag. I mean,
He can't really stop it. He's just gonna keep.
Oh,
he's just gonna keep on doing it. I mean, every single account he does get banned. Every single one he makes a video on, and that's probably eating into his profits. I'm assuming he's, buying new accounts.
Zorfi, one of the one of the largest creators that got banned. Do you have any insight from banning like players of massive calibers like that, like high streak or high popularity character players, and like how did that handle it? Could that go through more of a mod team? Did you just handle it by yourself, or was that discussed with multiple people before, eventually hammering them down?
So what I will say is that everything goes through the team, right? And things do get escalated to me, let me tell you. Generally speaking, there's really
I love
big
Pei too.
bans,
He's a
you
great
have
guy.
to be super careful because there's a huge community behind these people. Everyone's gonna get mad if you ban them or don't ban them. Oh, tell you what, people are never gonna be happy. Like, I'll give you an example of the Jake thing. A lot of people were accusing him of playing with his brother on his account. A lot of people were saying that he wasn't. It was, it's how do you prove that, right? It's difficult. And no matter what you do, everyone's gonna be really mad.
Yeah.
Right. And
Darned
I've
if you
had
do,
people
darned
talk
if you
about
don't.
that. People say some of the times these bans are unjustifiable and that they don't have enough concrete evidence to be a ban. And Jake got leaderboard banned. Some people are saying that the ban was definitely needed because everybody knew he was doing it, but there's a lot of other people who say he never did that. And what was your opinion on that? Like, how do you guys really tackle that? Because people say you guys get the staff team gets peer pressured into banning people because it could be such a negative influence on the game if most of the community thinks this one player is doing something that's wrong and the staff don't do anything about it.
Yeah, that's one of the really scary things. and it's one of the reasons why I would never want to be a game moderator, is that social peer pressure can be so widespread. Like, you could have 100 plus, 1,000 plus people who think that somebody is cheating, and they're a legitimate player, but they keep pressuring a single mod over it. They keep sending the same evidence or whatever, the pings, the constantly bringing it up. Like, if enough people pressured somebody, it's entirely within reason that somebody would crack. You know what I mean? Like, it's entirely possible. And it's quite sad. 1 second. I have to ban somebody. There we go. So yeah.
One thing you have to keep in mind is that often the staff team has more information than what you may have.
That's
so when a
true.
player gets banned unjustifiably, maybe there's something more to that. A good example would be a player like Ashley, who was banned because his personal friend, who was in a match hundreds of levels ago, saw him start flying and didn't bother reporting that until hundreds of levels later. Then everyone went, wait, why did this guy get banned? They didn't know that he was cheating the whole time because no one ever bothered sharing that evidence.
I mean, we try and do as many tickets as possible. You know, myself, I tend to do upwards of 2,000 a day.
Right. Wow.
Like,
2,000 a day? That's insane. What?
I can do that while queuing. I can do that while doing anything, right?
Wow.
It's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. Are you kidding me?
That's definitely hard part. It's just a lot.
If you want, I can give you an idea of how many tickets we're sitting on
Uh-oh.
at the moment. Sure. We're sitting at about 60,000 tickets.
I think the benefit of what the mod team does now for the game is like they get rid of quite a bit of cheaters, and it's not like I feel like it's more like people play one cheater and think everyone is cheating, and then it spirals into an effect where everyone just starts cheating themselves.
Now, I also did ask questions about the anti-cheat, and moderators such as X and Brazy have both vouched that the anti-cheat does indeed work.
Yeah, it does.
And quite frankly,
100%.
does even more bans than moderators do. After these interviews, a common answer from these staff always seems to surface, and it's that the staff team is very understaffed, with just under 25 members, and that when moderating such a large game like Rivals, they have to supervise over hundreds of thousands of players.
I know.
This
I
large
feel
task
so
is
bad
what
for
usually
them.
causes staff to retire and get overwhelmingly stressed.
Yeah, you get burnt out. No, I used to work in IT and I used to do tickets all the time, you know, and I was on an understaffed team. I can't imagine having to do, what do you say, 60,000 tickets? That's just crazy. That's absolutely wild. So I totally get where they're coming from, and I completely understand if there's a high turnover rate. I don't know if there's a high turnover rate, but it definitely contributes to people retiring. Lights, cameras, Rivals. Is this going to be season 3? Are we getting into the now?
What made you get into
Oh, it's time!
Rivals before you ever like
This chapter does not contain manual subtitles. That's
started
fine.
making content?
Ooh, okay. So I was on vacation. This was almost 2 years ago. I was on vacation in Japan, and I only had this low power laptop with me that can't really do much. So I decided I should go on Roblox, which I used to not be very active on Roblox, but I looked at the homepage and I just saw in my suggested Rivals. So I decided to play some random queue 5v5s, I think, and it was pretty fun, and I kept playing it from there. And when I got home, I had even more fun because I had like an actual computer at the time. And yeah, that's what initially got me into Rivals.
I was like doing some content on my real life. I was like kind of like a matchmaker where I go on the street and find people with their loved ones and stuff like that. And then I also was a hairdresser and stuff. And then, but there's a kind of like Christmas night I was in an event, and then I got really tired. You know, it was like a party event, and then I have to come back home in the morning, drive, and then I was driving and I went into a car accident, and that accident kind of almost killed me a bit, and then
A bit.
So my foot was broken for a while. I couldn't walk, and during that phase, I couldn't do anything. But I wasn't really that worried since I have other stuff on the side. But I'm just saying, couldn't move. It was really low in my life, you know, like because I like to move a lot. And
Pausing real quick. Slingshot actually has a video on this on his channel. I highly recommend checking it out.
And then so I gotta do something. So Rival kind of blew up at that time. My son Tempest, he told me, yo, there's a game called Rivals. I'm like, what it is? At the time, it was like just on the pad. So after the first time playing it, I kind of got addicted to it really quick. So I was like, you know what? How about like try to play and see how good I am. I feel like I had the potential to be better than among other players because I was like at level 20 and I'm already taking like 100 win streak or 200, you know. So I was like, yo, this game is actually kind of for me. So I just started playing, and you know, I was playing about 20 hours a day because getting to top 1 was my goal. So really adrenaline, you know, I was like trying to pass everybody. So I was doing 300, 400 at times a day win streak until I got to top 1. That's like after 2 to 3 months. Yep.
Right. And after you reached the #1 win streak, how'd you feel after you accomplished your goal of taking the #1 spot?
Ooh, I'm interested to see what he says here.
It felt kind of like happy for a minute, but at the same time, I don't want to lose it. So after I got it, because
you very much shift from attack to being defend, you know, and so the stakes change. It's like being the #1 person in your class, like with the best scores, you know, all of a sudden you have to defend that title, you know.
I know if I don't lock in, people is gonna pass me. So I didn't really celebrate for too long, and I just get back to the grind.
He got back to it. He got back to the work.
Content. Yep.
You know.
What was it like, and why did you all of a sudden
Sharky!
find this game called The Rivals, and what made you play it?
Funny enough, I actually had a lot of friends who started doing YouTube channels on Rivals, and so I was like, okay, I guess now I'm gonna try doing Rivals since I want to start YouTube, and here we are.
So one day I was just scrolling on TikTok and I would just see these streamers on TikTok play this game, and then it happened to be Rivals, and you know, I used to play a lot of Valorant and I wanted something different, and I barely played Roblox back in the day, so you know, I wanted to try it more, get into that, and I played the game and it was pretty fun.
Actually, I saw one of my older friends. I think his name was Exactly Nothing. He did Bevels because I used to play Bevels as well. I saw he was making videos on the game, so I actually originally tried out the game to make videos on it, but I ended up like really enjoying it. So
what made you want to start making your first ever content pieces? TikTok, YouTube, yeah.
My very first video on Rivals was like a year and a half ago. It was going against some comp players. When I played my very first comp game on Rivals, I was like, wow, it was so exciting. I recorded it and I wanted to post it on YouTube, and it got a good 1,000. Right now it's at like 5,000 views. I was like, wow, people actually like this stuff. And you know, I played more comp games, you know, post that more on YouTube, and people started watching it. I post a montage, people like that too. I was a control player back then. Nobody was very playing controller back then, so they thought I was different, and people liked it. So I was like, I can probably make something out of this. So I started making more videos, and it started to come all along. I promoted Sync on it. So yeah, at this day, I'm pretty much known as one of the most popular control players in this game right now.
Right.
Just standing out really from other players.
So after I won my first tournament,
Oh, it's Iced.
W. I realized that Zorfi was like a really known player, and I realized
Brandy's a great guy too.
Potential because I like talked to Phil a lot in Paragon. That's where I first started, and then after I posted that first video, it did decent, and I liked making content, so I just wanted to keep doing it. Now I'm trying to post every week.
Ice has been killing it with the content recently, by the way. If you guys haven't checked out his stuff, you gotta
start a channel and start creating. What would like one advice you'd give them, or a couple advices you'd say?
Not gonna lie, like being consistent and just posting daily until you have a video that does good, and then you start building a fan base is what I would do. Like Roman, he's like he doesn't have too many big videos, but he's consistent on live streaming every day, and like he live streams at least for like 2 hours every day, and that like he's
It's
growing
very
because of it.
respectable.
So I think just consistency is what you want to like.
Consistency is the currency of credibility.
Right. People, they just think about starting and they're too scared to, or they put too much plan.
Yeah, you gotta
behind their
take the
first
leap.
video,
Just
and it
do
doesn't
it.
well, they, yeah, just
You will learn more by doing than you will thinking about how it's gonna go. If you were thinking about doing content creation, just jump right into it. You know, it is in my opinion, something that every great creator has to go over, which is spending a ton of time into a video just for it to flop. You know, and not everybody, you know, that doesn't happen to everybody, but I think for some of the greatest creators, getting that experience is what kind of molds you. If you're able to get over that hurdle, you can succeed. Anyway, sorry.
But that's not how it should work. You should first just create stuff for your fun and then improve upon it from your own thinking or other people's input, whatever.
If you want to start a channel, you just really have to work hard on it because it's not going to be easy. I would say is out of a lot of you guys, just a few is going to be able to do it. And then achieving is the first step. Be able to stay is the harder one, you know? So
yes,
I said you really have a lot of passion, and then if you don't have a little bit of money to start with, I said you're gonna burn out energy because it really takes a lot of money. I said
yeah, something I would say, actually let me finish him talking first.
At the start, if you don't have something to start with, bro, I say you gotta start early. And then if you think going to school is your goal, then just go do it, you know? But if you're in school right now thinking about gaming, then you're living a double life. And if you want to be the best in something, how can you have double life? I mean, you got to give it all. That's what I'm saying.
I very much agree with that, because there was a time where I was actually in the same situation where I was spending half of my time studying cybersecurity and the other half working on YouTube, like Apex Legends content. And it wasn't until I decided, no, I don't want to go into cybersecurity officially. I want to pursue my dream. That I really, you know, stuck to my guns, and I did that for, you know, 2 years before I eventually, you know, took off to where I am today. But there was something that he said earlier. What was it? Oh yeah, talking about the money. So when you're first starting out, you do need some money, you know, obviously to buy the equipment that you need. But when you're really first starting out, less than spending money, I would say you're spending in time learning. Because like you can learn to edit all your videos, you record everything yourself, you do all your outreach, you do all your thumbnails, you do all your ideation. You know, if you really, you can do it all yourself as long as you have the equipment to do it. So you're paying in time. You're not paying for editors. You're not paying for thumbnail artists. You can do it all by yourself. That's what I did, you know, for years, you know, 10 plus years. So, you know, on and off for about 8. And it wasn't until, you know, the past 2.5, 3 years where I actually locked in. But yeah.
Yep.
I would say try to be different, but I know a lot of YouTubers like copy each other. I mean, you could.
Yeah, so there's a saying, there's no such thing as original content anymore. Because everything has been done in some manner. So you take content from somebody here, you take content from somebody there, you stick it together, boom, you make your own content. But at the same time, you focus on being you. Because there's a quote that I like that's, you will never beat me at beating me, and I'll never beat you at beating you. So if you have your own style, your own series, I can copy you, but I can never be better than you because it's you. So I really like that quote.
take their popular videos and then
These
make
guys
it
have
their
good
own
advice.
special way.
Definitely
I feel
take
like
from
that's,
it.
like, the best way, you know, take something that's already popping and do it differently.
Consistency and constantly learning.
Yes,
Learn what
iteration.
EVD, CTR, and just know like what is a good idea, what's a bad idea, and pacing. So, but mainly consistency.
Yep,
That's what I
consistency is the currency of
Just
credibility.
Have fun, honestly. I didn't really.
You gotta have fun in
originally
it. You have to have a
build
passion
become
for it.
popular. I just wanted to have fun. And
But a passion has kind of lost its meaning, and I'm taking this a little bit from Alex Hormozy, but the Latin term, I think it's passio, is what it's based on for passion. I could be incorrect about that, but it basically means to suffer. So following your passion isn't necessarily following something that you enjoy. You're following something that you're willing to suffer for, and you're willing to go through the boring and hard times to do.
get to know people in the community. So, but if you're like trying to take it seriously, find what to improve every single video. Because if you're not improving,
iteration. Shark Tactics literally just said that. Iteration, repetition with the goal of improvement.
yourself,
It's going to be about
going to get the same results. So,
know what your video is going to be about.
The idea
if
matters.
You don't know how to do a thumbnail or edit your own video, I would suggest finding someone.
I agree and disagree with that. I think when you're first starting out, you should definitely at least try it yourself once. That way you can, one, get an appreciation for it, and two, you might find that you're really freaking good at it and that you create your own style and nobody can come close to it. So, yeah.
Because that's a really important part of content creation. Having a good thumbnail, having a pretty decently edited video, and having a great video idea.
The idea
will make
matters.
Your content
Probably about
watchable.
70%
People
of the
don't
video.
want to watch a screenshotted thumbnail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or like a stolen video.
Yep.
You know, just really got to be consistent too.
What's the hardest part? The biggest struggle of being a creator?
That's a hard question.
I think video ideas is probably the biggest struggle.
Right.
It's really because sometimes Rivals doesn't update for like 2-3 months, so you really just gotta make something out the blue, and it's pretty hard when the game is bland, especially as a competitive player. Some players don't like doing the boring content, and it's just kind of hard to think of what to make content on, you know, when all you do is just play competitive. So I'd say that's the hardest part, just video ideas.
What's your favorite part as being a creator?
That's
My
a hard
favorite
question.
part is probably
These are good questions.
Being able to produce something for other people's enjoyment, I guess. Like my end goal is kind of, I'm not close to there yet, but I want to be like Dan TDM, Flamingo, something like that. Like I want to be something that kids are excited to see when I upload, and they can rely on me for a consistent output of enjoyment. And I also love just meeting other creators, I guess, and interacting with people that enjoy my stuff. I think my favorite thing I hear from like fans, whatever, is that I inspired them to do something like play Rivals or make videos themselves.
Kayam killed it there. He really did. That's one of my favorite things too. Like, oh my god, dude, when I hear that somebody has like created a YouTube channel and I check it out and it's got, 2 subscribers or whatever, and it's like, wow, they really did it. They actually did it. It's such a good feeling, man. The new age! This is probably where we're at right now. The new age.
The new age is now.
Yeah!
You never know what is going to happen next. This game has created so many great moments. It's given creators a chance to create entertainment, and it's given the community what they deserve.
This game has literally changed my life, by the way.
Not only will Rivals be evolving, but clans will be too. Clans such as Paragon and 4LC have been in the main spotlight for the past couple of months, while new legends in RCL are being witnessed right now. Though newer players miss so many great eras of Rivals, they are still here for the ride, because who knows what's in the store for the future. This game creates stars. New creators such as Incublox have been recently gaining lots of traction.
Yeah!
Records are being broken.
Yes!
Swift and so many more players are pushing this game past the limits. and creating even higher ceilings.
Oh,
This
man!
is the history of Roblox Rivals.
Oh my god, dude! That's awesome! Narrated, written, and edited by Kanashiwai. Music by Lemino and Pixabay. Yo, this is awesome! I really like what you're doing here. This is cool. Wow. What a video. Ah, Sensei's waving. What a video, man. That, I like Green App. That is something Appolino would say, bro. Thanks so much for the watch. I loved our input and comments on it. I didn't realize you're still here, dude. That deserves an absolute like. That was oh no. My webcam died. I fixed it. Nah, that video was incredible. I can't imagine the amount of time and hours that you spent into that. I am sure that you rewrote that script like 50 times. Like, oh my god. That was a banger video. That was incredible. I think that this is like a must watch for anybody who's new to Rivals.